Welcome back to Inside the Business Mind. Got information that I want to share with you first because I want you to understand the success and failure rates of businesses from different industries. But first, let's look at the numbers. 21% of startups fail because of poor timing. They don't take the time to do the research. 16% fail because they don't have a clear business plan. And a business plan is so important not only for showing investors and bankers and family members about your business, but it many cases determines your success and failure rates as how effective and informative your business plan will show. 47% lack of financing or investors. And that's going to be important depending on who you're going to approach for funding. 44% run out of cash. They're spending on things that are really not necessary to grow your business, but that's an important thing to consider. Let's look at the different sectors of the industry. For example, 80% of startups in the e-commerce industry do not succeed. In the tech industry, they survive basically a little bit below the 50% rate. Even for IT startups, success is hard to come by because it's such a technical field that a lot of people are not prepared or know the details of how to make it survive. The tech industry is constantly changing. Look at what we're going through now with AI. That's an industry that is popping up, it's growing, but a lot of people are not familiar with it because everybody goes through a learning curve to know how to operate AI within their business. So it's very technical and it doesn't have a good starting age. Let's not forget the burnout rate. That failure rate is like 16% of all the startups. And burnout is a prevalent issue because you need to have a balanced lifestyle, managing stress, and adopting sustainable work practices. And a lot more goes into why people burn out when they're starting a new business. They don't have an effective marketing plan. They really haven't studied and understand completely what's in their business plan, how to run their business plan, and how to look at the finances and the sales projections. I talk to many business people, those that fail and those that have succeed. And what I found out is that 20% of those that start out usually fail within 12 months. And that's a 20% figure. 30% of those startups fail because at the end of the second year, they just don't know how to operate their business and making it sustainable to last much longer than 2 years. And then there's the 30% of startups survive beyond 10-year period. So in this episode of Inside the Business Mind, we're going to talk about how to pitch to a banker. Even though the success rate is low, those that succeed and know how to talk to a banker, your chances are much better. I'm your host, Mike Turner, and today we're going to be diving into something every small business owner needs to know: how to pitch to a banker. Whether you're applying for a loan, opening a line of credit, or just trying to build a financial relationship with a banker. But you've got one shot to make a solid impression. So how do you do it? Well, let's get into it. Know your audience. First off, let's talk about the business mindset. Pitching to a banker is not the same as pitching to an investor. Totally different. The pitch definitely has to be different between those two, even for a family member. And as we go along in the episodes, we're going to share how each of them differ and why it's so important to understand the difference between those three. But for right now, let's just talk about a banker. A banker isn't looking to own a piece of your company. They don't want that. There may be something an investor wants. What a banker is looking for is how to get repaid, because they're in the business of making money. And if they give you money, they want some back. And maybe in some cases, they want all of it back. So you got to understand the approach and the mindset of a banker. So that means your pitch should emphasize stability, have steady growth, and also be predictability, being able to pay it back. So inside your business mind, you got to ask yourself, can I demonstrate that my business has steady cash flow continuously? Again, that goes back to a business plan to figure that out. Do I understand my financial numbers inside and out? You got to know that because you will be asked questions about that from your banker. So you got to be prepared. So what do you need to bring to a banker? Before you even step into their office, you have to have your documents ready. You're going to need your license, permits, and you're definitely going to need your credit score number. You need to show your financial statements from your business, or if you got a personal loan, your income statement and or tax papers. The next thing you're going to need is your business plan. And remember, I talked about how important a business plan is. Your business plan has to be clear, concise, and a realistic business plan. You just kind of throw numbers together and jot down anything you want. It's got to be realistic. Now that lays out how you are going to operate your business, because that's what a business plan is for. It will include sections that lay out your 3-year plan, your SWOT analysis, which is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threat. You got to know that because you got to know who your competitors are. And you got to know what your weakness is, what skills you have and don't have. So that SWOT analysis is going to be very, very important. If you're in need of an effective business plan, I have an effective template that you can get that gives you the results that you need to have a complete, thorough, and efficient business plan. Just send an email to me and I'll send you a free copy. Okay, it's time to ask for the money. First, when you're asking for the money, be very specific. For example, we need $100,000 to expand our product line. We need to hire 2 employees. We want to upgrade our website. And whatever it is that you feel you need the money for, you got to be specific what you're asking and what you're going to use the money for. So they're going to want to know, when I say they, the bankers, even investors, family members, they're going to want to know the money that you're asking for and what you're going to use it for. So now let's get to the actual pitch. All right, so you got your documents. So now you're sitting in front of the banker. You got to start off very strong. Don't show weaknesses because this is your business and you're trying to sell your business to the banker. So start strong. Give your 2-3 minute pitch. Allow the banker to ask questions, but you answer them and continue with your pitch. Now you lead with your elevator pitch. Okay? Continue talking about your vision, who you are. You may want to interject some personal stories about you or how you came up with this idea or this business. Now, you need to also explain the need. Why are you applying for the loan now? You thought about this for several years, and now you're thinking about starting it now. Why is that? What will the funds do for your business? Well, will the money expand my business or will it keep it the same level? You got to make sure that you are clear with how you're going to apply the loan. Repay the loan. You got to walk them through your projected cash flow and show where the repayments fit in. They want to know if you're going to be paying it back on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, monthly basis, within a year. Somehow you got to figure out how you're going to pay the money back, because that's what they're going to want to know. Remember, be aware of your speech. Try not to say, you know what I mean, all those things you don't want to say. You got to avoid those words. Too many of these words, the banker will lose the focus of what you're saying and begin counting on how many times you say these words. So practice and try to eliminate those words in your presentation to a banker. Remember your numbers cold. You got to know your numbers inside and out. And be prepared for questions and don't fake answers, because the bankers and investors will see through all of that because they've been in business for a long time, so you can't fool them. In our upcoming episodes, we will talk a little bit more about investors, also family members, friends, and even discuss why business plans are so important.